What's going on YouTube? It's Chadalmighty here, and I'm bringing you a short little special commentary here on the Call of Duty Ghost on the Xbox One. So my job requires me to drive around and stuff quite a bit. I mean, it doesn't matter how the weather is. Like right now, it's raining like crazy. And the reason I want to make this commentary is because I'm terrified of the rain. And so typically, when I drive around the rain, I have to cut my music off because I like to hear everything, and I like all my senses to be heightened at max potential. Like you would think I was like Spider-Man or something when I'm driving, so my head's constantly bobbing back and forth and going crazy, and then I'm drinking down monsters like it's nothing. And so I like to be in silence, but I also like to kind of talk out loud. So I figured I'd take the time, instead of just talking to myself, to actually make a commentary where I can talk to you guys. And I'm pretty sure you're going to hear a lot of rain and thunder along the way, but it makes me feel a bit more comfortable to speak out loud because I don't think about all the crazy stuff that's going on quite so much. So the reason that I get so nervous driving in the rain is I had a really bad car accident on my 22nd birthday where I totaled my vehicle, and I will throw a couple photos up during this commentary of that incident, and it was pretty crazy. Like I just left my first photo school, went into my second photo school, and my second school was just digital, whereas my first school we did like film photography and stuff. So I had a lot of leftover, film processing equipment and stuff for the dark room and everything. And I was actually going to sell this stuff to a girl that was starting at my old school. And, we were supposed to meet a few days before, and every time we were supposed to meet up, something came up. So on my birthday, we decided to actually meet up about 30 minutes away from my job. And I was actually working that day. I got off at 5 o'clock. Everything was great the whole entire day. And when I started driving down there, it started raining like crazy. We eventually met up, we made the transaction and everything, and then I got back in my truck. And I was driving to get on the interstate. And I got on, everything was fine, and it was raining, a little bit, not too bad. And then all of a sudden I hit this obscene amount of rainfall, and I could barely see. And I remember getting either a text message or a Facebook message from this girl that I was way into or whatever. And I didn't look at it. I just saw her name and everything pop up, and I was like, well, I'll save that when I get back, whatever. I had a birthday, dinner to go home and eat, and then, I had a nice German chocolate cake that was made just for me by one of my coworkers. And so, that was my concern. I was like, well, I'm just going to get home, get through this rain and everything else. And I've never been really nervous in the rain before, but this day I was actually kind of nervous because, you literally could not see anything except for the tail lights of the cars in front of you and the headlights from the cars behind you. So I wasn't even on the interstate for maybe one or two exits when all of a sudden everything happened immediately. Like I went from driving down the road to being upside down in the emergency lane. And I guess that's what's awesome is because, the traffic was heavily congested. But when I actually had my accident and, all this happened, there wasn't really any cars around me. And the last thing I remember was this guy just like speeding past me excessively fast. And I just remember saying, what an idiot, he's going to cause an accident or wreck. And then it wasn't but maybe about 30 seconds later that I actually wrecked. Now, I didn't get any tickets or anything because the state trooper that actually came to the scene of the accident, he actually told me, a lot of accidents happen there. It's the way they built the interstate. The water runs off. It's really rough, and when you hit it, if you just hit it just right, you can hydroplane. And where I was driving a truck, the back end of the vehicle isn't that heavy, so it just it got kind of loose, and I started going back and forth across the lanes of the interstate, eventually spinning in circles. And I remember, brief, moments of what happened. And I remember spinning in circles, and I remember seeing myself spinning towards this guardrail. And I remember clutching the steering wheel and closing my eyes and tensing my body up, which is technically not what you're supposed to do in that instance. But I just remember waiting for the impact on the guardrail, and it never happened. So I opened my eyes up and wondered, what was going to happen next. And then when I looked, I saw the median, which is this huge concrete barrier, and I was just prepared to hit that, which I figured would be even worse. So I clenched up once more, and then I just remember everything going really silent for a second, and then I remember hearing like metal on pavement, and then I remember just, opening my eyes and seeing the road and rain falling down, and I was upside down. And, I was held in my seat by my seat belt. And I remember crawling out. I cut off the ignition, I grabbed my keys, I saw my cell phone and grabbed that, and an umbrella was actually laying outside of my broken out window. It pretty much broke out all the windows except for the back glass. And I crawled out of the vehicle, and I immediately called emergency crews, but there was already people that had pulled over, so apparently I had laid there for just a second or two because it gave time for somebody to actually pull over, check to see if I was okay and everything. So props to those people. They were actually from out of state. And you know, this went on, and when emergency crews got there, and especially the police officers, they were all astounded to see that I was okay. I mean, I had a couple minor bruises and a couple just very minuscule cuts where I'd actually crawled across the glass and everything, and that was about it. But, you know, that day kind of changed my life forever as far as driving in the rain and just being cautious on the roads and everything. So I still get really nervous and stuff when those hard rains come, and especially if I'm not driving, because I feel like if I'm the one driving during it, I have more power and control. And, you know, where I've experienced it, it kind of, you know, opened my eyes a little bit, versus driving with somebody that has never had that happen to them. You know, I don't feel as comfortable. But guys, I mean, if you've ever experienced something like that, please leave it in the comment section below. You know, tell me about your experience and everything. And I hope you guys enjoyed this commentary and stuff. I like to tell more stories about my life so you get to know me. I don't want you to think that I'm just some kind of random guy that talks and does videos on YouTube. I want you to kind of feel like, you know, there's like a connection between us as far as, you know, like whatever you want to think of it as. But yeah, if you guys like this video or any of my other videos, please be sure to leave a like, comment, share, subscribe, and all that other good stuff. But YouTube, I don't want to keep you too long today. And as always, let's rage.
Nice work, team. Well done.